96.5 KLH, you're listening to Giving Tuesday. Dave and Doreen hosting today. We're very excited to be hosting this event. It's the first time we've done it on Giving Tuesday. We're calling it a celebration of miracles, a holiday of miracles. We want you to donate money to Children's Wisconsin, and we're trying to explain to you why. And how do we do that? Well, we bring families to you, and they tell their story. And this is a pretty amazing story. Okay, let me try and get this right. First of all, we have Ben and Pam. That's Dad and Mom. Brightingham.
Correct.
Close, right? Okay. And Rylann is here too. Rylann, what grade are you in, Rylann? Sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
Okay. All right. Very good. I think we should probably start with Mom. Pam, she's your oldest, right? And so what made you think that you may need to bring her to Children's, and at what age?
So at 6 months old, Ben just came home one day from work and said, I don't think she can hear. And I thought he was absolutely crazy. She would sit on the floor, and when people would walk in the room, she would turn, notice, look, smile. So I thought he was crazy. So then here we were the crazy parents that were, standing behind her, testing at home, banging pots and pans, and she didn't turn.
Okay, so how old was she when this happened?
6 months old.
Okay, so only 6 months old. Why would you? Okay, why did you come to that conclusion?
We had a couple of beagles. We had a couple of dogs at home, and I was always reading the books, like What to Expect When Expecting. Before you have a child, it was our first child, and then coming into after that with the books. I was just kind of curious. She'd always sleep at parties, around barbecues outside, and we thought we had this perfect baby that just didn't fuss. So it was just one of those things where after a 6-month appointment with her pediatrician, I just had this sense that was weird, and we basically just wanted Children's Hospital to tell us that we were crazy and that she could hear, and it was just, maybe fluid in her ears or an ear infection or something like that. But it was just this sense that we had.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Oh, so I was going to say, that's where, our encounter with Children's Wisconsin began. Was we had to come in for a sedated ABR hearing test. And unfortunately, the results were that she was profoundly deaf in both ears. Wow. So, yeah. But Children's was great.
What do they do now? I'm familiar with cochlear implants. I've seen people wear them. But at what point do they broach the subject? Like, okay, we did the hearing test, and she's profoundly deaf, and here are the things we can do. Do they bring that up immediately?
Yeah. So when she was profoundly deaf, we had to go in for an MRI to make sure all the internal pieces were there for her. And so we did that, and we then had to try out hearing aids as well first, to make sure that didn't help. And we did try that for 6 months, and she just wasn't hearing enough speech to get, to form speech and language. So then, we were definitely on the road for cochlear implants at that time.
So when you get a cochlear implant, this is a silly question, but is it the same cochlear implant from the time when it first gets put in until you become a grown person? Do they need to continue to update it? What do they do?
Well, so yes and no. So they tell you that there's a possible chance that maybe if technology has advanced far enough that she could possibly need another surgery maybe one time in her lifetime. But there's enough internal memory on what's implanted in her, in her head, that they can still do upgrades. And we have gone through some upgrades already. So they upgrade the internal parts, and she doesn't have to have the surgery yet. So,
okay.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Well, you're shaking your head there. Now, what's it like for you? You obviously don't remember being 6 months old, but what's it like for you going to school, having cochlear implants? Do kids ask you questions? Are they curious at all? Hopefully they don't tease you about it, but I know kids can be cruel. Tell us about your every day at school, what that's like.
So when I go to school, I have like a transmitter that the teacher has to wear. And yes, kids do ask questions, and some of them are a little rude about it, but I just say they just help me hear. And then I usually just like walk away because it is a weird topic and nobody really knows about it. So,
yeah, but you do a good job in letting them know, right? It's okay. You just need help.
I thought it was interesting whenever I was reading about your story, you guys, that you haven't always lived in Wisconsin. I mean, you obviously you were at Children's, and then through work or whatever, you guys moved away for a while, but you always drove back. Is that an accurate representation of what's been happening?
Yes, that is accurate. We did move to Iowa first and then to Minnesota. But we have loved the staff at Children's Wisconsin so much. And it's like their family to us. And, you know, Rylann feels comfortable with them too. So we have always driven back for her appointments because now that she's older and has had them for a while, the appointments aren't that often. She goes once a year unless we have issues that come up. So we would just come back for those yearly appointments, and we were happy to do it.
And one of the other things I read was whenever she finally came out of surgery as a little girl, she looked like Princess Leia because she had the cochlear implants and the things,
the Band-Aids.
Like swirled, the Band-Aids around your ears, which I think is very funny. Okay, Pam, this might be tough. What was it like when you realized that she could finally hear you?
Yeah.
You can't even describe. Just my biggest thing in this whole process was I just wanted her to hear me say, I love you, you know, even if it was just once. Sorry, I know I'm emotional.
It's okay.
But it's just indescribable. I just can't even put words to it. It means the world to me. Yeah.
And how sad it would be if she couldn't hear that. And
yeah.
Children's is a magical place. I mean, you know, we call it the miracle, and this is a holiday of miracles. It's all about the miracles. And this truly is a miracle. And we always talk about this, Ben, with dads, and that is that as a dad, you always want to kind of fix things because that's what you're supposed to do. But in a situation like this, you can't fix it. You just need to be supportive, and you need to get the best care for your little girl. And you did. And how great is it that it's right here in our backyards?
Yeah.
Well, at the time we lived in Oconomowoc, and we had great neighbors that, you know, I'll never forget when our neighbor Paige said, you know, you guys have never really complained about this. You haven't really, you know, had the woe is me. And I said, you know what, we have the best hospital right down the road from us. They gave us a game plan. They've had the support of our entire family the whole way. And I think too, even when we moved away for a few years and now we're back, I mean, we never wavered from that. We were always going to go back to the staff at Children's, keep that consistency. I mean, when Rylann first started therapy at 6 months old, they're going 3 times a week. And essentially Miss J, her therapist, became like a grandmother to us. And for me, it's just about having the plan. So if I couldn't fix it, but they had the plan, we were good.
Yeah.
And we can't say enough about what Children's meant to not only Rylann, but our entire family for what they've been able to do for us.
And you guys also do a fundraiser. We should talk about that as well, what you guys do.
Yeah, we actually started when Rylann went to mainstream school, actually hearing school in Waukesha in 3rd grade. We wanted to give back and make sure that families had the ability to get the technology if they chose to get it. We found out through Children's Hospital that normally they can get the insurance covered no matter what insurance it is. So we thought the next best thing we could do was to help support their children's hearing loss program that was in development, needed funding. And what that does is that actually touches the families of the children affected. So when we'd go to Children's Hospital for appointments, you'd meet families from Green Bay, you know, that woke up at 5 in the morning to drive 3 hours with not only the child that had hearing loss, but the siblings. And, you know, they were doing so much to make sure that they were getting the best care for their children. We wanted to have an event. So it's an annual dinner auction event that we've been able to do for about 7 years. And we use those funds to support the children's hearing loss program at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. And all of the funds are directed through the speech and language department. So whatever variety of things that they have that they need support with that directly touches the children and the families affected, affected, that's what we use those funds for.
Yeah, and our charity is called Sound of Hope.
Oh, that's great. Rylann, what does it mean to you when I say Children's Hospital Wisconsin? What comes to mind?
Just like how they always accept me, because at school sometimes I don't feel accepted because I have to like walk up front and give the transmitter to the teacher. But whenever I go there, I see kids like my age, kind of, and maybe they do have women's or hearing aids or something like that.
Right.
It always makes me feel so accepted, and like I could like hug every single one of them just because they're so similar to me.
That is so great. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. You're a very special young girl. Thank you, young woman. It's hard for me. I have 5 granddaughters. I 2 grandsons too, but the 5 granddaughters, watching them grow up, it's tough. You're a beautiful young person. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Continued
Mom and Dad,
success.
thank you for sharing your story too.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's no problem at all. We just need people to step up and donate some money now. That's what it's all about. Thank you again, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. See you. Thank you.